let's do really quick, rate the costumes. Rate the base costume, and then rate the retro costume for KI. How about it? Base costume for Jago, fantastic. Great redesign. Takes the elements of the character, adds more personality. He's supposed to be like a monk ninja. Very, very good design. I'd actually give Jago like a 9 out of 10. I think it's good. Retro costume, a little strippery. You know, he came. It is honorable to his original design, right? It is like his original design, but it came out a little strippery, just a little bit. I still like it, but I think his big gloves are a little glovey, you know? I don't know. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's good. I think this one's like a solid 6 out of 10. The Voltron accessories do help, but we can't do rate the accessories. That's like a whole different, we'll be here for hours, so. Main costume, I'm gonna give it 9. Amazing redesign. Retro costume, about a 6. Saberwolf, another incredible redesign. I love all the weird alchemic shit he's got on him, like all the signs, all the bandages. He's got like, he literally has a bunch of needles in his arm to try to control the beast. Very cool. Very cool looking. I would honestly probably give Saberwolf also a 9 out of 10. Fantastic design. Really good. I don't think it's perfect. I think it could be better. But the amount of like fur and hair, and this is an older game, like he looks very cool. This is one of my favorite bipedal animal characters in any fighting game ever. I think he just looks awesome and feral and nuts. However, his alternate costume, which is supposed to be the original Saberwolf, which was kind of like a shaved dog, a buff shaved dog. It definitely looks that way, but he more looks like a shaved rat in this one. So I'm gonna give Saberwolf's retro costume in this one like a 4. He's a little shaved rat, and he's not as buff as the original. Yeah, like he was really buff in the original game. He was really buff. So I'm gonna give this one like a 4. It's definitely on the lower end. He looks funny. This looked like a big shaved rat. Glacius. Man, I don't know if I should be giving Glacius a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. That's the problem with Glacius, is that he's just, what a cool design. Like, he's translucent, that there's this alien endoskeleton underneath him. They actually just, instead of just being weird ice guy, which he was in the original KI, he's just like an ice dude. They actually gave him a shit ton of character. Like, I think I'm gonna throw this out there. I might actually give Glacius, no, I'm gonna give him a 9. I'm gonna give him a 9. Because there's other characters that I think deserve 10s that are a bit higher, you know? Like a little bit higher. Yeah, he's not really over-designed, but he's still under-designed. Like, it's good. Like, this is a very cool-ass looking character, and I don't mean that pun literally. His retro costume, I think, looks great. It just goes to show you how kind of, like, little there was on the original costumes. I love his little blubbery breathing that he's got in his neck on both of them. I think that shit's awesome. That he's breathing through these, like, gills on his neck. Through this suit. This one's okay. I would give his retro a, I can't get too deep. I can't get too deep. But I can, we should do this to check out the costumes to see what they look like over here, because I can rotate, hold on a second. Yeah, I can actually rotate the costume here. So we should go back and look at him this way from this point forward. I love Glacius. This design is great. I'm gonna give the retro an 8. I'm gonna give his main costume a 9. What a cool ass character. Thunder though. Damn. Thunder though. So I know this costume is not specifically authentic. I know it does go to certain lengths to make Thunder a little bit more fantastical, but I think this is an incredible character design. I actually would probably give the Thunder's probably a 10 in my book. I think he's so damn cool looking in comparison to what he was kind of before. The headdress thing has been done a lot, but then you got to realize how old this game is. Like, this game's been around for like it's probably designed like 7 years ago. So I think Thunder's great. Like, this is a badass looking giant monster Native American dude that is going to whoop the shit out of you. And I think the body paint looks really cool too. Yeah. I love it. I love him. Now, he has a couple alternates. This one's cute. I think this is a, like, biker Thunder. I think this one is cute, but I don't think it's amazing. There is a nice reference to KI, because there is a Killer Instinct vest that exists that came out in the 90s. Which is cool. There's some very neat references on here. I break for combos. That's cute. But I don't think it's... I still think it's like a 6 out of 10. It's okay. It's like an okay alternate, you know? And then you have his actual, like, Nez Pierce costume. And I think this one is a much, much better alternate. And you realize that from the original Thunder design, how... like, even the war paint, there's some very similar things going on here. They took away the headdress, they gave him sort of like the pompadour look. Very authentic design is what this is supposed to be, and I think this one's very cool. I give this one an 8 out of 10 as well. Let's talk Sadirah. This girl. Here's an interesting thing about Sadirah. She was... very, very, very Mortal Kombat ninja looking when she first came out. In fact, we all thought it was like, was that Melina? When her design first came through, because she was getting designed around October-ish. Like, she was getting installed around like September, October-ish before the game came out in November. And she had a mask on. She had a mask, and she had much more clothing kind of on her. The reason they took off some clothing was to make her more nimble. Like, she's supposed to be all over the place, right? And extremely mobile. So they ended up taking the mask off. It was more work because they had to animate her mouth and do all that stuff and when she talks. But I think it's worth it because now she does not look like a Mortal Kombat ninja. She actually doesn't. She actually looks like more of an original character. And luckily, she actually feels like she belongs in KI, which is pretty great. And she does have a lot of very spidery aspects about her design, which is cool. Her torn up like leggings are supposed to emulate spider webs. She's got the very spidery, you know, choppy things on her arms. Some good design elements in here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give her an 8. I'm gonna give her an 8 out of 10. I think I'm pretty cool with that. I think she's great. Her retro. Oh God. I love the way her face looks in this one. It like looks a little different. This is an interesting costume. But damn. Not much to the imagination. Gothic Lolita? I don't know. I'll give this one a 6 out of 10. It's okay. It's okay. Little bit of maybe some anime influence? I don't know. Maybe a little bit of anime influence? Give it a 6. Let's stay with season 1. Orchid's redesign. I think it's pretty great. Put those candy canes down. Put them candy canes down. I think Orchid's redesign is pretty great. She looks fit. She looks ridiculous. I like that that's the knee she slides on, so she has to have a... She does her sliding attack, so she actually has to have a knee brace and protection around the knee that she does her slide. Pretty good. Yeah, Orchid's one of those solid 9 out of 10s in my opinion. For being one of the more very popular characters of the original KI. Yeah, I think Orchid's design is a very healthy 9 out of 10. Touch me and I will break your face. Her alternate, it's a little... I remember her alternate being a little funny. Her alternate's a little funny. Just a little. It's... She got the hot thing on the side, She doesn't look specifically bad, but it's not... she's very, very 90s, right? Hot. That was what Orchid was in KI original. I'm gonna give this one a 5. It just isn't. It's... Everyone's saying 10 out of 10. I don't know, man. I'm gonna give this one a 5. She's wearing flubber. A little bit. Just a little bit. It's not terrible, though. I mean... I think you all know. I think you all have a deep understanding that this is one of the greatest redesigns of any character in Killer Instinct. Spinal is so good. This character was so just generic, like, what was it called? Harryhausen? What was his name? Clash of the Titans was so generic bone man with a sword in the original KI. And they turned him into this undead Viking pirate butt lord. Holy shit, dude. Spinal is a 10 out of 10. Spinal is such a 10 out of 10 that if you were to say that we're gonna have a guest character from Killer Instinct in our game, I'm like, it should be Spinal. It should be Spinal. Like, I would take Spinal. I think Spinal is an even better character than friggin' Fulgor. Like, I like, if you're gonna use a character from KI, it's like, I think Spinal is like, please, just give me Spinal. He's so good looking, dude. This design is amazing. Amazing. Like, how the hell do you take something so generic as the original Spinal and turn him into this stuff? Jason and the Argonauts, thank you, sorry. Jason and the Argonauts is what his original design was. He's a real boy now. No, he's a real character and he's fucking crazy. And his retro is, of course, the classic design. What personality did this design have? He has a headband. He's got a headband. That was about it. He got a headband. So this is the most, like, perfectly 5 out of 10 it is. Just right down the middle, you know? It's not terrible. It's just a bone guy. It's nice that he's got a bone guy. But... he's got a headband. A new hat. 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. And this is gonna take a long time. Talking about everyone too much. 10 out of 10. Do we even need to discuss this? Absolute 10 out of 10. Fulgor. So here's the crazy part. I saw a lot of the original Fulgor designs. And they are in art books, but I saw them very early before Fulgor was around, and I was... I don't know if what I discussed with them had any influence, because they have to go through a very, very, very large amount of approvals and processes and everything, but... I was speaking to the art director a whole bunch, and they specifically asked me, like, what do you think about these Fulgor designs? And this was about a few months before they were putting Fulgor in. Oh my god, Kendrick, thank you for the 10 gift subs, dude. Holy shit. The art lead at Double Helix is one of the coolest dudes. And he knew that Fulgor is, like, my boy, right? He's like... they were like, let Max see the Fulgor design, see what he thinks. So... they had quite a few, like a lot. And then many of them were, he didn't really have a face, right? He didn't really have his, like, very Transformers-y, you know, like no mouth, just eyes and a ponytail. The ponytail was gone from most of them. And he very much looked like a robot from District 9. You guys remember District 9? How those robots were very functional, sort of looking? That seemed to have a very, 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 very big influence of what Fulgor's design was, and this was in the Killer Instinct art book. And many of the designs I remember were kind of like that, where he was very District 9 looking, and it wasn't a bad design, it just looked, in my opinion, it looked a little fragile. You know, the District 9 robots look like they're kind of fragile. They look like they have, it looked like they don't look like they're ready for combat. Like they're ready to hold guns. Fulgor isn't really that. Fulgor is when they were designing him otherwise, and then they turned the page and showed me a few other designs, and this one was there. I'm like, that is the walking jet fighter. That is like, and that was their design for Fulgor that they ended up going with. We want this character to be a bipedal jet. And he's gonna fly, and he's gonna have boosters on him, and he's going to be a combat robot. So, as soon as I turned the page and then I saw this design, I was like, that one, that one, that one, that one. And they did eventually go with it. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people felt the same way because they did end up going with this Fulgor design, but it was like, that one, holy shit. Like streamlined, angled, like he's supposed to, he's like a jet. 10 out of 10. Killed it. Best Fulgor. Way better than the original. Way better than the original. Because the retro costume, I don't think the retro, they designed this one off of Killer Instinct 2. This is supposed to be around KI2 Fulgor. And I don't think it came out specifically great. The eyes are like a little too big. I would have liked a more modern version of KI2 Fulgor, but I guess that's what his regular costume is. And I think this one is like, I honestly think it's about a 5. Like, this is not incredible, and it's not horribly bad. It kinda, yeah, looks like KI2 Fulgor. He's a bit of a chunky boy. Yeah. Yeah. It's not... It's like a Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, I'd probably give this one end up being about a 4. I'm gonna put this as a bit more disappointing in terms of the retro costumes. And there's some really good retro costumes like Glacius and stuff. Yeah. Not the best. But my god, dude. Holy shit. If you look closely, and I've done this because I got access to the game files and the assets, and I can zoom in on it. If you look at him, he's got this mesh, this hexagonal mesh all over his body. It's not in like the muscly fibers, not there. But if you look at all the armor pieces, like his chest and his head, he actually has this design all over his body. Shit. Very cool. Very cool. TJ, so this is a character design that, when he came along in Season 2, I didn't like very much. I thought TJ Combo's initial design was not great. I thought he was like a less interesting version of the old TJ. But the old TJ was very like stereotypical, you know, kinda, because it was the 90s. And I've actually learned to like TJ a bit more. So, I'll just say that I think TJ has grown to be like an 8 out of 10 in my book. I think he's good. He's a very good rendition of Patrick Ewing. 4-3. So I like him. I think TJ came out good. His retro costume is incredible, though. Oh, that one's incredible, but we can't even talk about that. There's too much to talk about with his Predator costume. His retro costume is incredible. Let's just take the stereotypical 90s TJ and just times it by 10. Give him the big ass, like 90s flat top, the big one. Man. I kind of like this one. Why did he lose an eye? Don't worry about that. This is based on his Killer Instinct 2 design. I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. Very Apollo Creed, yeah. Very, very, very Apollo Creed-like. He wrapped the American flag around his robot arms? 9 out of 10. Maya. Great design. I think it's a solid 8 out of 10. And, did very well to update this character and actually give her a whole bunch of personality other than just being like Jungle Chick, which is what she was in the original. Maya's very cool looking in this game. I'm gonna give her an 8. Her retro, which is supposed to be around the original, is okay. And this is kind of what I like. It's an updated version of the original instead of being a direct sort of translation of the original, which is what happened with a lot of the Season 1 characters. They updated the costume a bit. So I think it's good. I think the retro is still a jungle bikini. I think it's a 7. 7 out of 10. Con Rah, Mummy Man. Oh god, what are you wearing, Con? So Mummy Con Rah. I like Con Rah's design, but I think he's a 7. I think he's a 7 out of 10. He's got a lot of story elements, and that's what I like about him. He tells a big amount of story. Like, he's kept his old bony ass alive through magic and potions. I like that. But he's about a 7 out of 10. He doesn't exactly look like a fighting game character, and I kind of appreciate that, you know? He feels like he comes out of like a movie or some shit. Or like he's an NPC in another game. It's weird. Con Rah's an interesting character. His retro, though. Jesus. Now he looks like a Dark Souls enemy. I'm gonna give his retro a 6 out of 10. That is very spoopy, sir. Very spoopy. Richter! So Richter was essentially just a normal ass raptor in the original game. But now it's like amplified talons. Imagine a bioengineered robotic raptor. And that's... They pretty much took Richter and times it by 10. So I think Richter's a great design. They stuck their logo on it. Like, that's actually really cool. This thing is such a mass-produced, like, item. We're gonna take nature and completely fucking destroy it, is what Richter is. It is perfect. It's so ultra tech. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. She's a good girl. The retro costume is... I appreciate this one. Let's ignore the tutu. I appreciate the retro costume because Richter's design was very snake-like in the original Killer Instinct. Richter sadly didn't make it into KI2, but this is an amplified, better version of Richter from KI1. And I think it's cool. It's just very basic, you know, it's simple. It's got a very snake-like head. That's what Richter looked like in the original game. This is a good retro. Like, I think a lot of the retros that Iron Galaxy took over, they had like a different design philosophy. They sort of make them the original, but look a bit better. Yeah, put this shit on Universal Studios. I give this one an 8 out of 10. Omen. Oh man. Omen is... I'm gonna give Omen like a 3. Omen is a collection of energy and wings and other characters' moves, and I get what they were going for. It's the spirit that is haunting Jago. I get it. It's just the way it came out. I like all the effects. I think if it didn't have that, man, it would be very rough, but he's about a 3 out of 10. It's clear that this character was sort of like, could we make this into a character? Would that work? And they sort of did it. Electric Cinder, yeah. And even less than that. I'm gonna give Omen like a 3 out of 10. 3 because the mask is neat. I like the mask. It's like the mask is what's haunted, and the mask is what's, you know, possessing the rest of the body. Yeah. The big boy. Argonauts. So they managed to put a lot of personality into this design. I remember when I first saw Argonauts' design, I was like, it looks kind of generic, I don't know. And then once he was implemented in the game, it was like, holy shit. Once you actually see him in motion, it's like, whoa, holy shit. He's being kept together from this like old ancient spirit energy, and everything's just falling off of him, and he's just holding on. He's got to finish his mission. A lot of story, you know? You feel a lot of storytelling in this character. Big thick boy, broccoli man. I don't think Argonauts is a 10, but I think he's a very good 9, you know? Cool ass looking character. What's his retro? Yeah, his retro is very similar. His retro is like, this is what Argonauts looks like if he's what he actually existed like 1,000 years ago, or thousands of years ago, however long it was. This is how the actual unit was, like the Golden Army of Argonauts. This is what they looked like. And then this is what he looks like because he's had to adopt pieces of the planet around him to sort of stay alive. And I think this is cool. I like this design. This is what the robot was. But I don't think it has as much personality, because you see the storytelling in the other Argonauts. I'm gonna give this one a 7. 7 out of 10. Yeah, it kind of looks like it came out of Skyrim. $10 out of 10. Let's take the Kuon girl. Make her an insane, backwards-walking, undead ghost chick. And have her possess your body? So when they were... Once again, when I was seeing all the designs of characters for Season 2 that we were working on the story mode for, like, you see them all, like, all the designs, and then Hisako was there, and it's like, what the fuck? Whoa. The girl from The Grudge? And they're like, yeah, pretty much. I'm like, whoa, holy shit. That's amazing! Like, we're gonna make this horrific looking... And the fact that it's a female character, you know? That makes it even more, like, uncomfortable. Is that it's like the girl from The Ring, The Grudge, you know? Like, oh, shit. I love it. I think Hisako is a 10 out of 10. I think this is one of my favorite female characters in all of fighting games. I think she's so damn... cool. And a Retro. Retro's like her as a younger girl. This one's okay. There's not much to say about it. I think it's like a 7 out of 10. It doesn't really do much different, you know, just a different costume, it feels like. Talking about her feet, chat? Why are we talking about her weird, gangly feet? No more talking about that. I'm not gonna talk about Hisako's feet. Cinder! So I'm a little conflicted on Cinder's design. I think the fire effects look great. I think his face looks really cool. I am not a huge fan of... hold on a second. Gotta go to this one. I'm not a huge fan of his hands. His hands are a little like his dual thumbs. I'm not a fan of that. He's got like 3 main fingers and then he uses his like, he's got a thumb on each side, so he like does this. Not a huge fan of that. I'm not a huge fan of his high heels. I think he should have actually had like more of like maybe boots on. I think some of it looks really cool, and then some of it looks a little weird. But I do like the jet thing that's in the back that sort of propels him. I think that's really cool looking. Yeah, the body underneath is like all charred and nasty. I think that is really cool. I like how much personality he has, because he's essentially the game's Deadpool. Stop body shaming him. Hey, he's a fictional character. I'm gonna body shame the shit out of him. I'm not offending anybody. There's nobody to offend. I'm gonna give Cinder's design here a 7. I think he's good. His retro costume, I understand why they couldn't go with his normal hands, but it's like, it is what it is, you know? This is a big naked fireman. They did a very good job in terms of making it like look like Cinder from the original KI. Yep, that's what Cinder from the original KI looks like. It definitely does. That's old Cinder, all right. Cheeto Man. And unfortunately, Cinder's character design isn't like, you know, high praise, high art character design. He looks cool. It's Cinder. And it's still like a 6 out of 10. I wish his hands were normal. That was the thing. I just wish he had normal punch hands and not like weird, funky claws. Cheeto Man. Big naked fireman, yeah. 6 out of 10. Aria. I love how unapologetically like 80s robo she is. You know? Like she feels like she came straight out of the 80s and 90s. She's a little sexy. She's kinda sexy. In a weird robot way. I am awkwardly attracted to this metal woman type of thing. She'll step on your face. And it's funny is because she technically looks less advanced than Fulgor, but she looks much more regal, you know? She's the queen. I'm the queen of this game. Something out of Fifth Element, yeah. Yeah, definitely. A gynoid dominatrix? That's a good description. I'm gonna give her an 8 out of 10. I think it's very good. I think Aria is a neat character design. A character that I didn't know that could be cool. Good for an original KI character, you know? She's like the leader of Ultratech. The retro costume, though, very, what's that movie called? Metropolis? Very Metropolis-y. It's okay. This one's like a 6. 6 out of 10. The retro, though. Shadow fucking Jago. Now. I know. He's just an angry version of Jago. He's just a bad guy version of Jago. He's got different skin. He's got different tattoos. He's got some different stuff on his body. He's got chains. But Shadow fucking Jago. He's got a different sword. But Shadow Jago, though. I mean, I can't help but just roll around some of these extra colors to show you. Look at this one. Oh my god. He's just so cool. This one, though, oh my god. Oh, Jesus, man. They made a blacklight Jago? He literally... I'm sorry, I might be flubbing the ratings on this one, but Shadow the Jago, though. I hate how cool he is. That's exactly it. I hate how much I like him. I hate it. I hate it. I'm mad. I'm mad that I want to give this character a 10 out of 10. I'm mad. Not biased? Absolutely biased. This isn't your rating. This is mine. 10 out of 10. Damn straight. Better than the original Jago. Rash. Would you believe that Rash as a guest character in a Microsoft-made fighting game... No, he's not even a guest. He's not really, damn. He's not even really a guest character. Would you believe that Rash looks better in this than even the game he's about to be in? Than the original games he's in? That Rash would have more personality in a fighting game than anything else he'd ever been in? And they somehow, he's realistic looking? Like he's actually real looking? Like he's actually got like realistic skin texture, but they pulled it off? What the hell? He's too anatomically accurate, like, how the hell did they do it? 9 out of 10. He looks so cool. And then you look at the classic one and it's the cartoony version. There you go. And here's the cartoony Rash. And yeah, you just see they just pushed it in a little bit of a different direction. Made his colors pop a little bit more. More like the original Nintendo version. It's a fucking Battletoad. They skinned a real toad for the textures? Ugh. Fucking Battletoad. Retro's really good. I think the retro's an 8, but the, man, original Rash is just so... Jesus, that is a real walking frog. That is a real walking frog. Like, they somehow managed to make a real frog have that much personality. Wow. Pretty amazing. Arbiter. I think Arbiter looks pretty good. I was never a huge fan of the original Arbiter Halo design with their big feet. They're being correct, you know, like they were given this model and a lot of the artistic elements from many of the guys who are at 343 Industries. So I'll give Arbiter an 8 out of 10. I think it's a very, very good rendition and probably the best Arbiter or Halo character you're ever going to get in a fighting game. And the retro's a little weird looking. His face is a little weird looking. It's like, I'll give this one like a 6. You know? For the Halo fans, you know? I'm gonna give him like a 6 out of 10. Our Arbiter and these characters with their weird mouths and their funky goat feet were always kind of odd. Kim Woo. I like where they're going with Kim Woo, but I just don't think it came out great. You know? I think something about her design. I like the hipster young girl that's gonna whoop your ass. But I think she's like a 6 out of 10. I don't know there's much to say about Kim. I like her better than her original design, that's for sure. But there's just some stuff about her face, some stuff about like her poses and her costume that I don't think is an incredible. I do like purple and blue design. I think that keeps the design a little bit higher. So, I'm gonna give her a 6. Retro costume just pretty much dials it back to what it was in KI2. And it's like, this is a 5, in my opinion. A 5 out of 10. It's alright. Very Jubilee-ish, yeah. Tusk. So, Tusk in the original KI was just Arnold Schwarzenegger. And they gave him jorts. They actually put pants on him. Gave him a big-ass story. I think Tusk is a very, very, very good redesign. Huh. I would probably give Tusk a... I'm gonna give him an 8. I think he could look cooler, you know? He could be kind of a cooler character, but he isn't supposed to be that, right? I think Tusk is an 8 out of 10. Fun character, too. Very fun. Throw that big-ass sword around. And then his retro costume, however, didn't... Looks better with a beard. He definitely looks better with a beard. But his retro is, that's KI2 Tusk, alright. But, he's a little... He's got a little rough around the edges. It's like you stop and you look at one spot a little bit too much and you're like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna give this version of Tusk a 4. A 4. It's better with the luchador costume. Original character, Mira. And everyone had always said Killer Instinct needs a vampire. Why is there no vampire in KI? And I think her design is a little generic, like a little, but damn. Mira, though. Very neat. I think she's an 8 out of 10. That's a very cool-ass character. And they tied her to Maya. It's Maya's sister. Yeah. Very cool. 8 out of 10. Yeah, she could put a hood on. She looks even better. This one's interesting. It's like almost, like cosplay Mira. One of the most unfortunate things is, I don't know if I can, I guess I could talk about this. One of the most unfortunate things that came as a result of Killer Instinct having a T rating, and the ESRB changing its policies over the years. I think this is a 6 out of 10, by the way. This is a 6, it's very Sindel-ish. Was the fact that Mira was always supposed to use blood as a weapon. It was her blood that she was using that was attacking and hitting the enemies. And even during the trailer making process and the early design phase of Mira, she used red blood as a weapon. But it eventually boiled back from the ESRB that that's not okay. That'll actually change the rating of the game to an M, and they're like, oh, what the hell? So the metal blood thing, they actually tied into the story, where she uses this, like, construct to sort of pull from the blood, instead of having red blood itself. So they made it work, is what they did. They did spend a lot of time making, like, the metal that she uses and controls to be a bit different. Yeah, like the mercury blood is what they ended up using. So that is neat. But she absolutely, like, it was very bright and very bold colored blood for a long time. And then eventually they just couldn't do it. So, Jack of all blades hat. Yeah, it's neat, right? Yeah, that's unfortunate because I think that was a big part of the character, but I still think it's very cool. Still think it's very cool. It's like Mercury, you know? You like it more, honestly? And I can see, I think they did a really good job. They made it look convincing, like it was always going to be a part of the character. So, yeah, Mira's a great brand new. I think a lot of the brand new characters that made it into KI were really, we're talking Mira, we're talking Aria, we're talking Hisako, Omen, not so much. Con Rah is a wonderful new addition. Argos. Man. I really like Argos. He just looks like some primeval ancient bastard. Some weird ancient creature that's been alive for way too long. I think Argos is really damn cool. I'm gonna give him an 8 out of 10. His retro, though, you realize that the original Gargos was just a big gargoyle. You know, and this is actually very authentic to the original Gargos. He's just a big, weird gargoyle. Hunched over gargoyle. And it's not... Gargos and Idol were never great last bosses, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Gargos and Idol were never great last bosses in the original KI. But, this one's about a 6 out of 10. Yeah, retro's about a 6. And I think they actually did a good job with the retro because it does look like the original Gargos. General Ram. What else is there to say? It's General Ram. They somehow made him work in KI. I don't know how, but they did it. I think Ram is a 7. Not really anything wrong with him. General Ram. I'm almost rating General Ram as like a Gears character and less of a KI character. So he's like a 6 or a 7. And his retro is slightly more naked General Ram. Alternate, like, Jobber Ram. Gears Man is Gears Man. This is like, I feel the exact same way about this costume than I do to the others. It's a bit cluttered, but that's like traditional to what it looked like in Gears. So, it's Ram. That's what it is. General Ram. Idol. So they definitely took the original Idol and wanted to do something dramatically different with it. Like, and I will agree with what Steve's gripe is. Like, they made him very, like, ogre-ish. Like, tiny, his big-ass belly and so hunched over look. But the fact that Idol has his literal split personality is so sick. Like, he was a two-headed, you know, combat warrior in the original KI. But they flipped that around and literally split his head in two, where one's magic and one's melee. And they integrated that into his design. That is incredible. Like, that is badass. He looks stumpy, but this character is huge. Like, if he stood up, he would be so big. And that's kind of really the reason he's hunched over, is because he's like... he's too tall. But yeah, the effects, like linking the face together, how it still operates together, but very neat. But it's very, like, yeah, Warcrafty. It's very very mythical, you know? So I'm gonna give him an 8 out of 10. Actually, I'm gonna give him a 7. Because it's still a 7 because I love the splitting of the head thing. I think that is brilliant. That is a really cool take on that character. And then you get to see his original design, which is very traditional to the old Idol. He doesn't walk up as much. Oh no. Oh god! Idol crashed the game! How dare you, Idol! You crashed the game! What an asshole! Crash my game? Dickhead! What a piece of shit! Damn it, Idol! He's like, you gave me a 7? Well, fuck you! Yeah, I don't think Idol made a great boss in the original KI either. Like, he's kind of like... You're fighting all these weird future things, and then all of a sudden you're fighting like this kind of nutty ancient demon lord. Like, wait, what? What's going on? Should have gave him a 10. I should have gave him a 10. Okay. So yeah, Idol. Retro costume. There we go. Yeah, and this pretty much is just like Idol. Oh my god, the pumpkin hat. Oh my god, these look so cool. He's got some great retro accessories. But yeah, that's Idol, all right. I mean... And I even think this design is, Idol is like a solid 6 out of 10 in my book, you know? Big two-headed weirdo. 6 out of 10. But I think they did a great job. I think this is, very honorable. The original Killer Instinct. Yeah, the Ragdoll one is pretty cool. Fulgor! What a weird boy this is. Fulgor's a weird... You would think that this is just like, oh, so it's just Fulgor. But if you look at him, there's actually a lot more going on. A lot of the stuff that was technologically, like, advanced looking on Fulgor is way less on Fulgor. Not to mention that he's just looking rusted. It's essentially a way less advanced Fulgor. And I think they did a good job with that. I'm not a huge fan of the single eye, like... But I get it, they're going for the less advanced thing, so they had to make him not have as much optics. A big bucket of bolts. I give him a 7. I'm gonna give him a 6. I don't think he's super cool, but he does have a lot of story on him, you know? 6 out of 10. Kind of Bastion-like, yeah, it's true. He didn't have any other costumes. Shinja Sacco, in my opinion, is a good attempt, but she's not like... The new design doesn't do much for me over the original Hisako. I think original Hisako is just much better looking. Shinja Sacco is a little weird. I'm gonna give her like a 5. She's very generic, you know? Nothing about it is really cool. It's just like a less cool version of Hisako, kinda. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. It's only okay. I think this is actually one of the few characters in the game that only came through like, okay. But playstyle, she's completely different. Like, oh my god, like, she is a much different character. And then Eagle, I think Eagle's design is actually really... Wait, those are accessories. I think Eagle's design is actually really damn cool. Like, the techno Native American. I think it's neat. I think his in-game model is a little rough around the edges, in the face a little bit. Like, his face is a little rough around the edges. But if you see Eagle's character artwork, oh man. Yeah, kind of like Turok. I think Eagle is a solid 8 out of 10. And he's technically a new character to KI while being an old character because Eagle was, the way, yeah, Eagle in the original Killer Instinct was literally, it was Eagle's body that was Fulgor. Fulgor wasn't full robot. Fulgor was, sort of like half android, right? In the original Killer Instinct. And in this one, it's a bit different, because this is sort of rebooted KI, right? Like, things are a bit different in new KI. In this game, I can tell you because I made the trailer and the story, it was more like Eagle's soul was put into a robot. And that robot is the Fulgor you know, because there's a lot of Fulgor Mark IIIs. There's a lot of them, right? It's a mass-produced robot. Cyborg. But the one that, the headline character that's actually the Fulgor here, this is actually Eagle. This is Eagle. But his spirit is in here. They probably explain it much better in the KI comic books. Yeah, I'm just telling you based on the story that I had with the trailer. So yeah, like, I think if you look at Eagle's character artwork, it looks so much better. I think his character art looks really damn cool. In fact, I mean, obviously Eagle's hero art is badass looking, like, really cool. But there was just some parts about, like, the face that just didn't and like the pose that didn't come through completely well. But I still think Eagle's a really, really cool looking addition to the roster. But a tough as nails character to use. Like, he is very difficult to use. I'm gonna give Eagle about like a 6. But I like a lot of parts of his designs. Just not all of it. I think his hair comes across as a little flat too. His retro is actually... I actually really dig the retro. To be completely honest. But I'd still give it a 6, right? Yeah, his skin texture is a little underwhelming. Like some parts of Eagle just kind of looks like he was sort of rushed in some ways, you know? Just a little, his model's a little wonky. And he was like the last character that was added, and it seemed like they were gonna add more characters, but they didn't. Like, I think, Shinja Sacco and Eagle looked like they were sort of like, they may have had a little bit less time to put together than some of the other characters. But I think Eagle's hero art is damn cool. So, there you go. There's some definite pinnacles in here of badass character design. I think Shadow Jago is a 10 out of 10. I think Isako is a 10 out of 10. I think Rash's design is incredible. Richter's is amazing. Fulgor is a 10 out of 10. Spinal is a 10 out of 10. And Thunder is like a 10 out of 10. Like, there's some damn good ones. Now, who's the best? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He the best.